Is it an issue of rights?
Based on the question that you've just posed,
Yes.
I like to refer to something that transpired today on Newsfile. And I was listening to a lawyer,
Yeah.
H. Kwesi Prempeh, a renowned lawyer. And he was coming in from the point of view of rights. Other lawyers were looking at legislation. And his argument was, what is it that the laws of our country state regarding LGBTQ or whatever? And he made the point that the law as we know it is about, what is it? Unnatural carnal knowledge. And his point was simply this: if people of a certain orientation that we feel are amenable to doing what the law prescribes are congregating at a place, does it relate to them going against the law?
Yeah.
That was his angle.
Yeah.
The other lawyer's angle was about, let us legislate so that we don't get these people getting their way and confusing the kids of today. Because somebody like me, at my age, George, nothing can convince me. I don't think anything can convince you, George, the way you are today, or any of the panelists here. It's about the children coming up, being brainwashed into believing certain things.
Yes.
And so long as our constitution also agrees that part of our traditions remain intact, the people who are of the opinion that this thing should not be allowed have a right and a say. I have lived with homosexuals right from England, George, and I must say and tell you that they are, the ones I met are very nice people.
Yeah.
Can't hurt a fly. I also have followed the exploits of homosexuals in the field of hairdressing, music, art, designing, and all that where the entertainment world is, George. And you know, actors, actresses, you know, a whole heap of them. And we have all admired the work that they do and haven't had issues with them. Maybe some of us, until this thing came up, didn't even know about some of these people being a part of the LGBTQI fraternity. I think that the way they were in the past, without us being, without their activities being shoved into our faces, allowed us to live with them and, you know, just go along with what they were doing. But if you come up in the open to shove certain things down our throats, that's when people will despise that. So, as for me, I don't know, I find this a hydra-headed problem. I don't know how we're going to deal with it, whether by the legislation. I heard the IGP speak today and say that they're going to go by the law. And you know the strange thing, George, that I find with lawyers, when lawyers are debating an issue, each one of them will get up and say, it is absolutely clear in the Constitution that so and so is this. Then the other one will also come back and tell you the same thing, that it is absolutely clear in the Constitution that you can't do this, you can't do that. And lawyers never agree on what the clarity of issues are.
Well, okay, this one is just by the way. So you wrap it up so that we can move on.
So
that's
I'm saying,
it for you.
I'm saying that the emotions must be
measured
and very measured.
Okay, Sadiq.
So we know how to deal with this matter.
Your thoughts on this? Oh, I don't have to ask. Oh, Ajia Power is listening.
I think that I'm still processing a number of the interactions and conversations going on regarding this. I think I've approached it with a more open mind.
Open-minded. Yeah.
You know, against, because I mean, I have a stand which is informed by my religious orientation.
Exactly.
But regarding this as well, and also because of the fact that, like I mentioned, I worked with a lot of these LGBT people. You know, I'm on a set tomorrow. I'm in Federance for something that I'm doing. 2 different sets tomorrow. And some of the guys working on the set, obviously, these guys. I also have a presenter too that was like that as well. And so, and I haven't really looked at them on the basis of my stance, you know, my religious stance.
Yeah.
So I've been following the arguments, I've been following the conversations, I've been following the legal element of it, I've been following the emotional element of it, I've been following the moral argument of it, and all of those things, you know. The one that actually, even though I haven't really made a decision, I'm following with an open mind. It vexes me that other people from other countries, particularly diplomats, seems to want to have a say in this. I mean, it really vexes me. That's the part that really vexes me. But I get it that international affairs these days, and particularly when it gets to human rights, there's a need to press.
Because the countries from which they come.
And again, I'm saying that because also particularly because these countries have clamped on and have not really taken it kindly when other people wanted to push things related to human rights. For instance, polygamy.
Let's not make this one a debate. Just thoughts quickly,
so
we go. We have another major topic.
That's the point. But
to go to.
Not to go against my religion, but I honestly feel like, I mean, these are. I probably need to go slow without publicly going against my religious stance. But I think that I would want to wait and then,
Sadiq,
you know, follow you.
Yeah. Sadiq, you have not worked with homosexuals. You have worked with fine Ghanaians, absolutely fantastic talent, who happen to have a particular sexual preference.
No,
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Please, I beg you. I'm saying, no, Uncle Ken.
Let's hold on. Let's allow
George
him to go.
Quaye is an absolutely phenomenal radio presenter
what are you about to say?
who happens to have a sexual preference of being gay. I don't want you to flip it and say I work with a gay person. No, it's an example.
My guy.
No.
My guy.
No.
My guy.
Hey, George, the reason,
George, slow down. Change the example. I beg you. People are listening.
Okay, so you've met a Jesse Japan, a hardworking marketing professional who happens to be gay. I don't want you to say I've met a gay guy who you see, if we do that, right, then for me it falls into the debate that we are denying them of some right. As fine individuals or as fine makeup artists, they are Ghanaians who have rights to associate, rights to move, rights to do anything that I can do.
Correct.
There's just one aspect of all the rights that they have and the things they are asking for that the law says you can't do. Which is you cannot put your penis in another man's anus. So I'm coming. I'm just saying that, Uncle Ken, all of us have preferences. You know what my sexual preference is? I want to be able to, without due respect, your listeners should forgive me.
Yeah.
I want to be able to have open sex in a car with the roof opened. That's my techie. That's my excitement. So permit me to do that. I should be able to go to Barclays Bank car park.
But that's against the law.
Yes, but why should the law deny me of my pleasure?
That is the law.
Exactly. Now the law says I can't have sex outside.
Yes.
Maybe I should also agitate.
Yes.
I'm saying that within the collective.
Uncle Ken, hold on.
Uncle, relax.
Allow.
Within the collective, all of us have individual preferences and associations. But as a collective, we have decided on what works for us.
Okay.
If we allow everybody to pursue their individual pleasures, do you know what my second pleasure is? My second pleasure is that I like George Quaye's wife. So I want to model a creature on George Quaye's wife. And every day he's having sex with her, I want to be doing same with my toy outside and pleasure myself. Don't deny me that. No, remember. No. Uncle Ken,
you should get where Jesse is going.
Relax.
Yeah.
My last point is this, Uncle Ken, and again, listeners should forgive me.
Yeah.
These are examples, so forgive me.
Yeah.
My third fantasy is I love 12-year-old girls.
Uncle Ken, allow the man. Allow the man. He's making a point. No, he didn't interrupt when you were talking. Let him finish.
There isn't time.
Yeah.
And you see, one of the arguments is that you haven't caused them pain.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is I live in a compound house. Yeah. There's a 13-year-old girl there. I want to buy cocoa butter, put towel on my neck, and satisfy myself at the pleasure of her sight. Have I broken the law? I'm a pedophile.
Exactly.
I haven't touched her yet. I haven't hurt her yet. So, but why should you deny me my sexual pleasure? Don't do that. But I'm saying that there's a reason, Uncle Ken.
Uncle Ken, hold on.
There's a reason why the law tries to protect and create a ceiling, so that all our crazy thoughts don't come through. Let me give you my final example, and then I'm done. We are talking about trans this and trans that. There's a 63-year-old man who says, I identify, one, as a woman.
Yeah.
And two, I identify as a 16-year-old girl. So he comes to Ghana and goes to Wesley Girls. He's got a 6-inch penis. Standing in a bathroom, assuming it's admitted.
Yeah.
So he says in a bathroom with my 16-year-old girl at Wesley Girls. I must permit that because that's your right?
No.
That's nonsense.
No.
No, but that's where we are now.
Uncle Ken, isn't that where we are?
That's the journey we are on. We said, Uncle Ken, hold on.
That
Uncle Ken,
is why
hold on.
I made the point.
Uncle Ken, hold on.
They cannot.
Hold on.
They cannot.
Uncle Ken,
hold on, gentlemen, hold on. One way.
There's a reason why it's not
you
about
react.
gays. It's about LGBT, and the trans I am talking about is part of that drive. So 5 years from now, my daughter will be in Wesley Girls. Sadiq would suddenly say, he's a girl. He holds a 6-inch penis in the bathroom with my child. That's rubbish.
That's rubbish. Agreed.
But we will get there if we open the Pandora box.
And so that is why I am saying that all I was saying was that they should not force their pleasures on us.
The same way you have a right to bong somebody
because
from somebody's...
Exactly. That is my point. I don't agree with them forcing...
By all means, do it in your room and don't let me see.
Exactly.
But don't walk to me and say... No, it's not.
No.
Charlie, let's not get there.
Right.
Gentlemen, Ras, let's hear from Ras. We haven't heard from Ras on this one.
In fact, I don't want to have a conversation on this.
Oh, come on. Let's move on then.
George, there's a message.
You know.
Hold on, Sadiq. Let's hear Ras first. Yeah, Ras is talking.
Yes, because...
All right, Ras. Point well made. Sadiq.
So message says, what is it? Okay, say public use and promotion of weed is illegal. So if one day ganja people come together and have an office for them, is it illegal? Then he says the same way armed robbers can't come together and have an office for their office to practice their illegal crime from Selikem.
Exactly the point Jesse is making. Exactly the point Jesse is making.
All the examples I gave you were fake.
No, that's. I'm sure the listeners are discerning enough to be able to tell that. And gentlemen, you heard, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, you heard the thoughts. And viewers on Facebook, you hear the thoughts of our panel members on this LGBTQ thing. It gets very, very emotional. It is an emotional conversation because a lot are of the opinion that once you open that door, there's no turning back.
And this, we don't have a tourism satellite account. One was started in 2016. As we speak right now, it has not worked. We are going to take charge of what we are going to do to ensure that we have a tourism satellite account that gets at the proper data of actual tourism contribution to Ghana.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Tourism everywhere around the world is contributing significantly to GDP. In Ghana, as you said, it's about number 4, according to the Bank of Ghana Statistics. We think, when given the opportunity, we are convinced and committed to make tourism number 1 contributor to GDP. We've all along depended on cocoa, gold, and oil. We all know that these are extractives we cannot be sure about their certainty in terms of revenue. We're going to embark aggressively, when given the nod, Mr. Chairman, to do both domestic tourism and international tourism. Ghana has the best in terms of tourist sites. The Ghanaian people are very warm. We have very rich arts and culture. We have very good heritage sites. And we think that when we put our heads together, we want to, especially internal tourism. So, Chairman, in the year 2019, when we had the year of return, 1.1 million tourists visited this country. That grows over $3 billion. This has been an increase systematically over the last 8-10 years. We don't do much of internal tourism. And I want this opportunity to urge Parliament representative of the people, to champion this internal tourism drive. If every time you go on break, if I'm given an opportunity, I want to organize members of parliament to go around the country. We want to have corporate tourism, school tourism, religious tourism, and others. Mr. Chairman, when given the opportunity, we want to build a film and music studio. It's one element that can increase the tourism potentials of this country. We don't have any studio in this country. If we build a film studio, and we're working very hard to acquire a studio, that's one of the early things we do. The film studio we build would help in music and in film production and make Ghana the hub of film production in West Africa. In Nigeria, the film industry 2 years ago generated $590 million and supported 1 million jobs. Ghana can do it if we have a studio that can make sure to produce movies, films, and to help in the creative arts sector. We want to build our creative arts and culture. Without a strong cultural and artistic background, tourism will not go. Mr. Chairman, I've been briefed. The Kakwadi Theatre, Cape Kofride Theatre has been done. There's an ongoing one in Kumasi. When given the opportunity, Mr. Chairman, we would have to facilitate work on the Tamale and Takoradi ones. But we plan to set up a studio, as I indicated earlier. We need a very large space. Accra might not be, we haven't found one in Accra yet. So we're looking to other regions. We've not decided one for consultants.
Love this station.
Music from the man Amanzaba. It's Showbiz A to Z Radio on Joy 99.7 FM, 37 after 5. Show's proudly brought to you by Kankets, Ghana's most reliable mobile telecommunications network. That's MTN. We day for you everywhere you go. Proudly brought to you too by High Five Chocolate. That's the new normal. So, Honorable Dr. Mohammed Awal, Minister-Designate, Tourism, Arts and Culture, was vetted during the week, and the voice you just heard was his. Uncle Ken, did you follow the vetting of Honorable?
Actually, but I didn't follow it because I was away.
Okay.
I came back and listened online. To the recording of his vetting. And you see, he was actually speaking at like somebody who did not really know the space. I mean, that's how I felt.
That's how you saw it, okay?
Yeah, that's how I felt with his responses to it, because his responses were quite of mechanical.
Generic.
If you ask me, to some of the questions. And then again, the people asking the questions themselves came across as people who either were sent certain questions or, also did not really know what transpires in that sector.
And Uncle Ken, not to interrupt, but I kind of...
You agree with
I got that feeling too when it comes from the questions that they were asking.
Yes.
His answers, I was okay with the answers because they are not things that we haven't heard already.
I can excuse
you could see that. Yeah, I could because it looked like the questions were not. It looked like somebody sitting in front of you, very deep, very smart, very intelligent, well informed, but you're not giving him the questions that would bring out the best of him. That was the feeling I had.
But like I said, George, he also came across as somebody new to the sector, as far as I'm concerned. And normally when these things happen, I am not one to start casting doubts as to the abilities of the person. I always like to wait and see how things pan out within his tenure.
His tenure of office.
Yes,
Okay, that's
of
cool.
office, before I decide on what to do. Because I remember vividly when...
Jake?
Not Jake. I'm not even equating this to a ministerial
Another
position.
minister.
This is a private sector thing happened. That's the advent of, what are they called? Xylophone music came on the scene. And we were discussing the matters, and everybody was talking about, the expectations and what they were going to do and how good it was for the
Industry.
sector, the industry and all that. And I remember saying that, let's give it time, see how it pans out. And I never shift from that position. I always want to give time. Because this guy sitting there might have come across as somebody who we didn't trust or believe in, but might shock us and pull a surprise over us. So,
Sadiq,
George, that's what I have to say.
Wallace Pals, Sadiq,
For me,
let's do this quickly so we'll come to 3 Music. Yeah.
if you realize, if you watch the one that was involving the Education Minister-Designate and even Kojo Paukruma, and you saw the verdict of the people, generally, these were people that came across, even not only relating to this, but even with Kojo in the first term, when Kojo was actually vetted for the deputy minister.
Yeah.
He came across as a very insightful,
Kojo
Paukruma, knowledgeable, smart person that knew exactly where he was going.
But
And
Kojo, that was his field.
Come on. And he indeed actually proved to be that.
Yeah.
I mean, aside all the other political issues people would have
his
with him. Again, when you come to this particular one as well, he I mean, safe to say that excel. Same as the Deputy Education Minister, who is now the Education Minister-Designate. When he came as well, I mean, for the first time, he came across as somebody that knew exactly what he was doing and what he wanted to do. And in all his public engagements, he came across as somebody on top of his game. So, I mean, if you're going to use the same principle on Awal, I was disappointed also because I had high expectations. If you guys remember, right after elections, the early part of January, we sat here. One of the first few people that felt when I picked the hint that he will be nominated for it, I felt he was going to be good at it on the basis of the work he had done at Graphic. And so, and Graphic, which is part of the media industry, which is also part of the bigger creative industry, you know, I felt that for somebody that has worked to that extent, he was going to be somebody that had a perfect understanding of industry and how to enable it.
When you say you were disappointed, are you trying to say you weren't satisfied with his responses?
I wasn't satisfied.
Was this something you expected that you didn't get specifically?
I mean, I expected him to be to express clear knowledge and understanding of industry and the ways to enable it. And that's why I agree with Uncle Ken, for instance, when he says a lot of his responses came off as mechanical or more or less like you've just been briefed. I mean, just go and sit down and, you know, say whatever you have to say or respond to them and then move. Because there were some very, very, and that's why I disagree that some of the questions were not. Of course, most of the questions that we expected were not asked. But the few ones that were asked that we expected, for instance, the answers were very, very cagey. I mean, take example the issue of the 20 million studio and the consistent, some of the responses that he was giving, for example. So for me, I mean, I was disappointed at that point. But like Uncle Ken is saying, maybe it's early days yet, but there's where I differ with this as well. Remember when in the first term of the MPP, we had the same thing where it was like, okay, you know what? It's early days yet. Let's wait to see what would happen.
Okay.
Then we came the first 100 days. I mean, that was, from Katrina Feku coming down to Barbara Otinjesi. So, okay, you know what? First 100 days. After first 100 days, we came on first 1 year. Then we came to 2 years. And they said, I remember Socrates and Co. Oh, it's early days yet. Let's relax. Then soon, let's relax came to, we have a 4-year mandate. So allow us when we get to the 4th year, you would see something. And then we came on, finished the 4 years with nothing done. You know, so if I'm going by that, I will not have that patience. And I told Frankie, when Frankie said, it's early days yet, I said, no. If you wasted my first 4 years, for instance, I don't have that patience again with you. I'll set my sight on you and put my spotlight on you and begin to pile that pressure immediately. And on the basis of piling that pressure, Mohammed Awal was not impressive. He didn't come across as somebody that clearly understood what he needs to do to enable the tourism culture and art space. And for that reason, honestly,
George, I can hear
I
the
won't waste more time.
clapping.
I won't waste more time to wait for him. I don't think I'm going back on my initial words where I felt that he would be good for that sector. On the basis of this, I don't think that Mohammed Awal will be good for the sector. But if you say it's early days yet, that's fine. But for me, my pressure starts now, and it won't stop. Yes, and it won't stop. The spotlight will be on him. A lot of the promises and the things that they say, if they pass him, let his people and everybody know that our spotlight will be on him. We can't afford for our 4 years to be wasted again. The industry is not a fluke. It needs to be properly.
We have to go through music. You are taking your time. Okay, now Jesse.
Yes.
When the vetting was going on, I was monitoring social media, and I was pretty. Should I say generally impressed? Maybe my expectations.
Did you say generally impressed?
Yes, generally.
Okay, right.
And then I was. What I noticed that this is not a man who wants to waste time talking. This is a man who wants to get his hands on the job and start working. And I even saw a post from Francis Doku on Facebook and said, "Oh, Charlie, the man doesn't waste time talking. He goes straight to the point." There are some of us, when you ask us one question, maybe gift of the gab. Maybe he didn't have it, so he didn't have time to be talking plenty. I don't know if you picked that sentiment.
I probably picked up. So maybe let me reconstruct one of the questions for you. So, George, we're looking to appoint you as managing director for Multimedia Group. Tell me what strategies you put in place to drive the revenue of the business. And your answer would be, when I come into the office, I would work with the right partners to ensure that the revenues grow.
First, I'll fire Philip.
No, you see, what I'm just giving you now is a classical answer.
Yeah.
To some of the things he said.
Okay.
What am I saying? So I'm sorry, but a month ago when we discussed this, we said, Uncle can go.
No. I'm you know, the example you just gave, it's just blown my mind. And I'm thinking.
Because there's a particular one like that.
Yes.
You picked it up, exactly.
I'm saying that. What if he didn't know?
I would rather he would have said that
till he gets into the space.
So what happens to brief?
So he tells you exactly what you said.
Yeah, but I get it. But I'm just saying. Okay,
I will deal with the right people
when I get there. I get that.
To do it.
Okay, but Uncle Ken, George, my point is this, right? Listen. A month ago, I made a point that this is 4 more to do more. This is round 2 for Nana Dona Akufo-Addo.
Yes.
And this is the term that he would exit with the biggest bank.
Yeah.
Right.
So the expectations of the ministers are much more higher than the first term.
Of course.
So I love what they did to the Agric Minister.
Yes.
Even though it was hectic, I love the fact that he stood his ground. He tried.
Yeah.
I love the health minister. I love those who were really, really punched. Esla was punched a lot.
But punched more than him.
She showed tough skin.
Yeah.
And you see, was not punched.
Yeah, so I'll get to that. So I'm
one
saying
voice.
That.
We don't have time. We don't.
So
have time.
George, I'm saying that.
Go on.
So Esla came. So sorry, Honorable Esla.
Yeah.
Came to the vetting with documentation, books, and facts.
Yeah.
So George, let me take you to a few of my concerns.
Go ahead.
On large sitting theaters, he said, when movies are produced, they must be shown in theaters. That is how actors make their money. No, that's not how they make their money. The revenue buckets for actors is actors. I'm quoting him.
Yeah.
The revenue buckets for actors are more than that. The actors make their money once they act.
Yes.
It's now the executive producer's job to go and make his money.
Yes.
So again, so if you listen carefully, you realize that there was sometimes some wax lyricing happening. Okay. Number 2, he says Africa SME organization missing from handing over notes. For me, it was a big pain for me, because if I were handing over, there are structural issues, there are functional issues, and there are legal issues. This was the biggest legal issues. And the fact that he wanted to reference his handing over notes to see whether he was there or not, for me was a concern. Number 3, which was the biggest concern for me, and I don't think he saw it coming. When somebody asked him about the Kumbungu people, and he said, "Oh, are they temperamental people?" And what the NDC chaps did it was a curveball that Awal didn't see coming. So he said, "Oh, are they temperamental people?" Then he said, "Oh, they're not temperamental people, but they are just aggressive, and in a very positive way." Then time passed a little bit. The Muntaka came. Muntaka said, "Oh, in the corporate world, are you quick-tempered?" This was about 5 minutes after. "Oh, I'm not quick-tempered. I'm just tough-talking sometimes in the corporate world." 30 minutes passes by. Then Harry Idusu comes to say, "At home, do you throw your fist when you're angry?" So I felt that, you see, they were trying to get a temperamental question coming, but they broke it down in such a way that he didn't see it coming. So at the back of the listeners' minds, they've thrown from tribe or culture to
business, to family,
to business, to personal.
Yeah.
And they've thrown your temperament out there. Now, you said he likes short answers, but I feel that was a time he had to address it head on. Instead of saying, "No, I am not," he had to say, "I am surprised if it's not true," and try and, you see, challenge the question in such a way that you would purge yourself of that thing they are putting in our minds. And I feel that the chaps may know something or they might be wrong, but they probably didn't try at all. Next. I'm sorry. He says that 20 million studio. He says that private sector funding.
Yeah.
Then first he says that they need land. Then he says, considering the land outside of Accra, other regions. Then Muntaka draws attention to the fact that, oh, the Ghana Film Authority has some land somewhere. Then he says, oh, we are engaging them to see whether we can use that particular land. So okay, so you don't want Accra, you want other regions, then you are drawn to it. So for me, it felt as if, okay, maybe the briefing wasn't right. Next, festival packaging and the calendar. We already have a festival calendar in Ghana. Next, he says they want to organize around the world in 10 days. George, in truth, and I love the plan, involving school children, corporate sponsorship and stuff like that. But guess what? Around Ghana, it's already been organized. City FM does it. Joy FM does it. Many travel and tour companies these days are doing that same thing. So the question is this, that how does the ministry support the process? Again, I didn't really feel him clearly on that. Next is how many businesses did you support in terms of the Zongo business community? For me, right, George, if you sat in that chair, you must have a cheat sheet. And the jobs you created, it must be on the sheet immediately. Again, his answer was that I would provide it for you later. Yeah. Again, the question on women in entrepreneurship. How many businesses were created? He said, I'll provide the answer later. You see, there are some top liners you must have a cheat sheet for. So, George, for me, from where I sit, right, I think that, good, last point. Haruna Idrisu said that he saw a difference in the total number of jobs created in the handing over notes. If he were the health minister, he would have pushed him to explain why the difference was in there. Right. But for a while, we made it pass. For me, I felt like it was an overly friendly atmosphere created. And therefore, they didn't push him enough for us to get the best of Awal.
Well, that was what I said.
Yeah, I don't think they pushed him enough.
I don't think they gave the man the kind of questions that would have brought the very best in him.
Awal is good.
And
but
the
it's just that
reason being,
very good.
Your last 3 points that you raised were all about when Awal was business development manager.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, they themselves realized that they are not supposed to be questioning him about business development.
Especially important.
Hold on. Especially when the ministry has been shut down.
Yes.
It's closed. It would not do anything. Really.
George, let me give you a caution.
Well, it works.
Let me
It
give you a
works
caution.
because it shows
In
his
the
leadership.
creative arts sector, you have a lot of briefcase businesses here.
That's why they didn't push him further.
Anyway, we have to go. Sadiq, 3 Music Women's Brunch. Very quickly. We have about 2 minutes.
It's tomorrow?
No, actually,
it's not tomorrow. It's next week.
Airing, it's airing on the 8th of March to commemorate International Women's Day on Joy Prime TV. So there's a number of activities happening with regards to that. I'm sure next week when we come in on this enough time, we can just go delve deep.
Well, next week we may not be here, but we'll see how. So tell us now. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, it's consistent with our commitment to have an initiative to not only empowerment but amplify some of the things that women do. Most importantly, we've always made a strong commitment, a call for industry to do better when it comes to women. So consistent with something that we've been doing over the past few years, the Women's Branch is coming again. It's our International Women's Day commemoration. This year, the Woman of the Year and Emerging Woman of the Year will be awarded on that day, aside the icon categories that we've always had. and then there'll be a panel conversations a day before that. But on Monday, 8th March at 8 p.m., it's when the women's branch itself will be aired on Joy Prime TV.
Yeah, you remember
8 p.m.,
last year I was full of praise for this event.
Yes.
And especially for the panelists.
The panels, yes.
And the way they came across.
Yes.
I hope we have the same sort of thing.
Yes, exactly. That's what we're...
So you have the panel sorted already? Or the information is going to be coming up?
Yes, the information will be coming out, from tomorrow, Monday. The series of communications will be put out on the multimedia Joy Entertainment platforms.
Okay.
Ahead of that.
Thank you very much. Jesse, final thoughts. We're wrapping up. We're out.
Look, I wish Awal all the best.
We wish him all the best, yeah.
I just like to advise Sadiq.
Yeah.
When it comes to Three Music, speak with the vim that you use.
Show is probably brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go, a spot from High Five to Commode, probably. That's what they call the new normal. And then, of course, it was produced by the man Philip Nye. Yes, well, it was produced by the man Philip Nye and powered by Joy Entertainment. We had Anita here on production support. Selwyn put us live on social media. Music.